Oh. Right, no worries. Thanks. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, good evening, and it's 6:33. We'll open the May 12th meeting of the Billerica Conservation Commission. This meeting is available using the Zoom application for public comments and questions with a time limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Please note this meeting is being recorded. Thank you. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Staff present this evening: Isabel Tocantonis, Mike DeVito, and number 9. Commission members present this evening: Joanne Giovanni, Diane DePasso, myself, Bill Bulens, Jack Bowen, Christina Harris, and Tom Nelson. Now, are there any comments, questions, or concerns pertaining to any items not on the agenda for this evening, either in the room or online? No one online?
Nope, there's people online, but no question.
No questions, okay. Then we will get started, and at 6:34, first item, new wetlands hearing, Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Billerica Wetlands Protection Bylaw wetland hearing, notice of intent, public hearing of 15 Conflict Street, applicant Michelle Barstow. DEP file 109-1596, BVL 1596.
Thank you. For the record, Stephen Dresser, Dressman's Away. I'm representing Michelle Forrestal. The matter before you. Ms. Forrestal has applied to construct an addition. It's just 6 foot by 78 square feet. Basically bumping out her kitchen in the back here. The property itself includes a 30-plus-year-old pool that's been there forever, predates the wetland bylaw. The property is bisected by an intermittent stream with an associated bank. And there is a stockade fence that separates basically the usage of the property from that stream. There is debris along the bank that they will remove by hand, and they have proposed to move a post and rail fence to be allowed to use their existing fence that's been there, but simply adding signage to a stockade fence, indicating that there's wetlands back there and things shouldn't be brought back there and such. Yep, and also proposes to restore a small portion within the 25-foot alteration zone of area that is part of the enclosed yard. There will be erosion control around the work area. Again, it's a very small addition, 78 square feet. The erosion control will be placed such that those have the ability to work. They're going to need to relocate the gate on the chain link fence to the pool, as well as there's a walkway here. So they'll be relocating that walkway and the gate within that very small area. Just as a matter of record, I'm told by the applicant, when she had come up here, she had broached the idea of maybe cutting some trees behind the stream. She's contacted with solar companies and she would like to put solar panels on the back of her house, and that they won't do it because the trees are so tall back here that they just won't get the sun and it won't be worth it. So she'd like to have that discussion. It's kind of notified me the other day. I'm not sure. We could add to the notice at the time we didn't. If we can do that, I would imagine. It's not something you can't cross that stream on her property. There's not a way in it. It's something that they would have to reach over, cut, and, probably leave a good portion of the trunk there. But again, open it up in some way so that she can put solar panels in. So she'd just like to see if there's any way that's possible. So that's where we stand. Michelle is here to answer questions if you'd like. Again, on the face of it, it's a fairly simple project, very small addition. Go from there. Thank you.
Isabel.
So as Steve mentioned, the existing pool that you see on site is in there. It was constructed between 1971 and 1978. And I think it's about 3 different homeowners. So that predated the current owner. As far as concrete block wall you see on site along the brook, it was probably a result of installing the pool at that time. Fairly old, but is doing its job. Regarding restoration plantings, there's plantings that are proposed between the chain link fence and the stockade fence, kind of a double layer protection, both for the pool as a homeowner and then a fenced in yard, which I think again was under, when you purchased the property, it was already there, probably the stockade fence. And then there, what you don't see on this plan are there are plantings, in case you didn't get to go on the property, but the stockade fence between on the northeast side of the property, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 deciduous trees, mix of pin oak and other oak with shrubs in between, just on the other side of that stockade fence. And I actually brought up pictures in case folks didn't make it out there. And there's a street view too, this one actually, you can see it with the result. Why am I bringing this up? Because the commission usually looks for opportunities to restore in their buffer zone, and in this case, the restoration plantings are kind of in the inside section of the yard where it's currently maintained as grass inside the stockade fence, but given the pool, I understand probably why they did that. The owner to the left, on the left side of the plan, looks like they're probably mowing up a little bit of this property. But overall, there are trees, this tree canopy along the stream limited. But if there is tree canopy and again, on the other side of the stream. Regarding solar panels, it's ironic that you bring that up today, because we just had like a call with agents across Mass, and that was one of the policies that they reviewed. But I think before the commission would even look at that, you would want to understand the degree of clearing associated with that necessary, how many trees, the type of trees, the diameter, just to even get a sense of what is being proposed. And that's, in this case, again, there's limited vegetation along the brook on the northern side of the brook, as you can see. With regard to other stuff that Steve pointed out on the plan, there is debris along the bank, miscellaneous, like old wood. I don't even know if it's associated, it may have been there for a while, but it's easily, it's accessible. That would be removed, and Steve does reference the variance requests on the plan for work in the no alteration zone, which would be associated with debris removal and restoration plantings. And everything else looks good as far as staff review notes.
Ask, should maybe the possibility of trees being handled as a possible modification if they're able to do it. I imagine that.
No, it would have to be amended because that's in direct impact resource area.
To be honest, as I thought it out today, I imagine it's
For a whole new
very,
line.
very expensive endeavor to have somebody bring a crane down, bring the type of equipment that they're gonna need to reach over to get them.
The other one, the first time when I first moved to the house, they came and proposed me and they said that because of the trees, they couldn't do it, but they, I said, so I don't know if I can do it.
Can you just identify yourself for the record? You need to tell them your name and address just because you spoke.
Oh, my name is Michelle Forrest, address 15 Tapley Street, Berry County.
Thank you.
So what did they?
Yeah, they said that, because of the trees, I will have, sun for the solar panel, but they can do it for free. I'm not gonna pay
Yeah,
anything.
there's a difference between, you have trees in your yard, we will cut them down for you for the panels, and there's trees on the other side of the stream within.
Yes.
buffer zone too.
After I spoke to them, I said, that's not my property. I called and they told me to call the, town hall. When I called, I remember the first time I met with Mike. And he said that he needs to come to evaluate and blah, 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 but, which I was so busy with school, I didn't continue with the process, so I dropped everything. So now, since I'm ready to do the, project for my kitchen, and then, when Mike came again for a second time to evaluate, to see the land and stuff, I told him about it, and he said that when we going to the hearing, when coming to the hearing, I can mention that to you, but I forgot completely until when I told you the other day
Yeah,
that, I completely forgot about it.
yeah, I just know it's a semi-complicated process, so I don't wanna hold up this part of the project.
Yeah, we can jump if it cannot, if we cannot, so we can continue.
And perhaps we can have a conversation with the solar company, so they know what they're up against, and see if they'd still be willing to do it for free.
Okay.
And that's even if it's permittable.
If it's permittable, but
After the commission's provided with a degree of information, they would need to decide whether or not, depending on the degree of clearing and cutting and tree removal, if it's permittable or not. It's tough because the house and the pool are right up against the stream.
Yeah.
You have the pool and then concrete, so that whole side of the property doesn't have any vegetation. So they would need to have a better understanding of how many trees, where they're located, things like that.
Okay.
and I can, so if we could just separate that and kind of, we have a direction on that now, and I'll work with you on that.
Okay.
And probably talk to the solar people so they know what, because I don't know which trees they
Okay.
want down, mark them or whatever, and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for staff.
Joanne?
Yeah, well, first off, just to clarify the size of the addition, I don't have a problem with the addition. But on the plan, it says 6 by 13, the notice of intent says 6 by 18. And the plans, and then your narrative says 78 square feet, so.
6 by 13 and 78 square feet. So
Yeah, I
that's
know,
the
but
same.
I'm just saying it's identified different ways, so is it a 6 by 18
6
or
by
a
13.
6 by 13?
13,
6 by 13?
yeah. So the-
Okay, so, all right. So I guess that needs to be, the notice of intent versus 6 by 18.
So 13, so 13, yeah.
Which is a 7. I don't know where it is.
I believe you on this.
No, I mean,
Enough right to make a mind.
It's just on your, in the actual application, it would be on your page 2 of 9, that, if you go through it, that. So I was not able to access the property. There were cars in the yard. I rang the doorbell, knocked on the door, went to the back and knocked on the door, but nobody came to let me into the backyard, so I was unable to make an assessment of what was out there.
When was that?
Let's see, I'm gonna say Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday.
I was not working. My kids are at school, my husband at work, I'm at work, so if I don't know somebody's coming and nobody's there.
Yeah, well, there were 3 cars in the yard, but.
Yes, sometimes they come there, but we're not there.
Well, I'm just explaining that I couldn't get there to see what was going on, so, and I didn't wanna take the chance of going back if you weren't gonna be there, because you know what your schedule is. Yeah, but any case, I don't really have a problem with the addition. I'm just still questionable on the area for restoration. It seems that, from what I can see in the pictures, that maybe we could pick up more restoration behind, actually along the bank. There was opportunity for I couldn't get out, so I'll ask either one of you who've been out there. You know, I know the debris comes out, but from what I can see in the pictures, I can see a native shrub type. It was mostly, I think they said it was a pepper bush or something, but it's a pepper bush, but I didn't really see, I mean, it seems to me this is the area,
The
I
fence
think it
right
gets
up
pretty thick
against.
yeah,
Yeah, so
in the spring and summer.
that would be the only,
area through here.
yeah,
And what about if we, you know, did something on the other side of, this fence goes like this, right?
yeah.
There's a
So we could pick up something like that.
I think we could probably put a couple, on just behind the fence.
This side would be the
Where the
only,
plantings are proposed to.
Right, but we could bring something down on this corner instead of here, making it on the other.
Yeah.
This is just an idea rather than put it, if Steve wants to, I'm saying, and the other members. If there's some way to do it, I can see it's really tight, but rather than have it in here, I would think we'd try to do it behind that stockade fence and come down in the 25 and, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Leave the grassy area.
like upgrading to 6B, but on the other side of the stockade, yeah,
So
right there, where espresso was.
come down and, you know, take that area that goes up to the 25, so. It would come behind, yeah, starting to maybe. Look like what would be, go along that bank and then swing down to. Past 102 to the property line with the 25-foot would be brought in. That's square area there basically. Not to say that the applicant can't, if they wanted to. Landscape more in the yard, that's great and fine. But I'd like to see something on the other side. Closer to really the resource area and improve it, and if there's any way to improve down this end.
You know, if it's vegetated there, behind that, I mean, is there vegetation here?
There is,
But is it native plantings or invasives or what do we got? Put into the wetland.
There's definitely opportunity here to the left of the stockade fence and just behind it. And then this part here, this fence down here.
yeah, that's like right on.
You're talking about like the
This-
northeast corner?
Yeah, there's opportunities for like sporadic, you know, maybe take these, put like 3 here and maybe 2 here or 4 here.
Yeah, the wetland report just says the bank is only sparsely. Vegetated with the sweet pepper bush, doesn't list anything else, that's why, as I said, I'm just what I
Yeah, and
know
the,
what,
the shrubs that are on the plan would actually probably do well here. So I think there's opportunity to install that. We can,
You're on the other, you gotta go to the other side. Down,
What's it? Stop with
no,
the other way.
other way, you're going down Pines. Hang left.
But you won't be able to see the back end anyways.
It's too thick.
You can see, you'll see what I saw too with the trees, you'll get an idea, so this,
Yeah,
yeah. But, you know, the corner, at the corner of the fence,
Yeah.
that's something that if you wanted to condition the relocation of what's proposed on the plan to improve conditions along the stream bank,
outside the
Yeah.
stockade
and
fence.
we should
Yeah.
warn something when you go.
That way you can keep
Reconstruction.
mowing your area, it's harder to probably maintain this. You know, so we can work with the
Yeah.
owner and the contractor,
I'd like to see that they're gonna do it against the street, get the higher. But other than that, I do not have a problem with your new kitchen. That would be nice for you. I would just like to see, the restoration closer to the street. Just out of curiosity, what I can see from an aerial now, but the other side of the, stream, is that all tree?
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of my notes was to enhance that area outside of the fence more than, that would be my priority, and then any opportunity along the bank too. Is there any access to the back of the property? Do you go back there at all, or pretty much not beyond the back? Okay, good. And Steve, it's definitely an extreme, you have. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
the stream sets at the end of the wetlands report.
I missed it. Apologies. I was gonna agree. But
It's pretty, it's kind of the big, it's really the beginning of the brook, so it's only 0.0.
good, thank you. Okay, in terms of, you said you're gonna replace the walkway. Will there be any impact to the impervious surface from that, or it's just gonna basically reduce it by taking out part of that walkway, or just shifting it
It's
over? a little?
basically shifting it,
Okay,
you know, there is, you know, a small area of, 2 feet up against the foundation.
okay,
That's 6 by 13, so maybe 25 square feet there. That's
or nothing significant.
de minimis. De minimis.
De minimis.
De minimis.
De minimis.
I remember that word.
Wait, you're-
All those fancy engineers use that word all the time.
Yeah. They mentioned the debris removal, probably want to include a condition about if the fence is ever replaced, that it gets moved farther out of the 25, towards the edge of the 25-foot no alteration zone. Also, a condition about the pool replacement, if it ever gets replaced, that, alternative will be looked at to, determine if it should be moved somewhere else, on the property. And then my, last comment has nothing to do with the applicant's property, but the property next door to it. I actually went out to your house today too, and I rang the doorbell and knocked on both doors and stuff, and nobody was there, but I did stand on your little back porch area, so I could sort of look back there to see what was going on. And I noticed that it's the neighboring property, which is actually kind of in one of the photos where the swing set is, it looks like they've, sort of demolished the bank and, any resource area out there, so, if we could have them notified that
Are they mowing the stream?
they're, well, it looks like they filled it in, it looks like they.
Into dirt.
Yeah,
Filled right
yeah.
into the edge,
Yeah.
I was on the same porch.
Yeah,
looking the
yeah,
same way.
yes, it's actually that photo right there on the left, if you,
17.
I couldn't see it, but that's from the back of the fence, but from the porch, you can kind of see that something's going on back there. And I think it's, yeah, it's the lot to the west, so the next one,
This short
Away
fence?
away from
yes.
pines,
yeah,
away from pines.
yes, yeah. And, that's nothing to do with your property, obviously, but, but it's an opportunity for to get some restoration going on out there. But I don't have a problem with your kitchen either, and I hope you make some great food, and, good luck. Thank you, Steve. I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Jack.
Steve, you're cutting up that concrete for the addition, it's gonna be a foundation, you're gonna have on.
No, it's a foundation.
It will be a foundation, now that people keep the bulkhead in the current place, or the bulkhead be moved over,
Okay, and it moves along with it.
comes out front, okay.
It's shown on the plan.
So the bulkhead, I didn't see what we were thinking, but I'm sure it's there.
It's just pumping out the 6 feet.
Okay, yeah. Oh, no, it's fine. The other thing, other thing I do is, coming off the driveway there, you have a gate, you have holding up with 2 bricks. You have to move the bricks to get in there, that's the way I get in today, and, that might want to get repaired or replaced.
Sure, while they're doing the lot.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Improve some
Other than
conditions.
that, I'm all set.
Okay, thank you.
Christine.
Thanks for as I always ask, stockpiling area.
It'll probably just start piling the driveway.
Driveway, okay. And then the waiver part's right on the right side of the existing driveway, what that bushes or?
Yeah, those are shrubs.
Sure.
They said just,
That needs to be- Yeah, it's not a big deal. No, it can-
All set?
this.
Tom?
I am all set, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And the only thing is, I was up on the same porch as Diane was this afternoon also, I knocked on the back door. I didn't want to try the fence, Jack was brave. But I think the idea of moving that plantings from inside in that lawn area to outside the fence in that corner. That way you leave the lawn undisturbed and it will keep it that way in kind. I think it'd be more practical, better. Any other questions from the audience, comment out there? Online?
Okay, numbers, I think, it's a small addition that's just going on that already in previous area, and I think this, the discussion we had with the restoration plan, only ask Isabel, are you comfortable with this condition and at pre-construction, you can discuss that?
Given the extent,
Yeah,
it's very minor.
It is.
Site, and it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so we can do that as a condition. All right, then first let's vote on the variance. The applicant is going to make every effort to establish a no alteration zone where one does not exist with some signage and some sort of visual barrier, I guess, we'll have any stones or something, but in any case, I'll make a motion that we do grant the variance to section 3.03 C3B, the 25-foot no alteration zone with the improvements we discussed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And with that, I will make a motion that we close the hearing for 15 Tufton Street. Applicant Michelle Forrestal, file number DEP file number 1091596 and BDL 1596. And that we sign close, issue sign close and add the conditions about the northeast corner outside of the stockade fence along the stream bed will be the restoration area for the no alteration zone. And if the pool was ever to be replaced, it would need to be conditioned permitted through the commission anyhow, but it would not. It'd have to come from the permit. Oh, and which, you're gonna replace the fence?
No, not if it does.
Oh, if the fence is ever needed to be replaced. Well. Check with the conservation commission. Check with the conservation commission on that too, because it's right up against the street.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's Christie.
Thank you.
Yeah, Christine.
Good luck.
Steve, did you log out of Adobe?
Huh?
Did you log out of Adobe?
I don't know how to. The whole world gets to use my Adobe.
We'll log you up.
But you can figure it out or ask the IT guy.
Okay.
Steve, can you just make the edit regarding the no plantings to be discussed in the field and
Yes.
dispersed along the stream?
Yep.
It'll also be at the direction of the conservation department.
And the updated page, in the application, size and.
Seven. Well, one, second item, Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Bill of Wetlands Protection Bylaw with and hearing notice of intent. Public hearing 17 Greenville Street. Applicant Michael. Builders, and no fire number.
Hi, it looks like, the applicant's representative is.
Somebody's raising their hand online.
Yeah, they should be in attendance.
I'll let them talk.
And the miscommunication happened.
Mr. Dragani is on the phone, online.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that communication. We did try to ask that question ahead of time. There might have been a miscommunication there on attendance versus Zoom, so apologize for that.
Yeah, okay, but just to clarify to the commission, it was clarified in an email. Second.
That he was supposed to attend in person.
Yeah, so, okay, you already introduced it. I just want to clarify, there is no DEP file number. So if you could walk through the plan with the commission, you cannot close the hearing regardless.
Understood, absolutely. Would you like me to share my screen, or do you have sets of the
They
plans in
can't
front of
see,
you?
they can't see anything.
We don't have the ability to do that right now.
I understand, absolutely. So yeah, I'd be happy to run through it, quickly here. So, this is Dan, Dragani from Dragani Engineering Group, 17 Greenville Street in Billerica. I'm, representing Michael Santullo from Sanco Builders LLC. This project is a single-family tear down and rebuild. Essentially, the house is older and smaller, so it doesn't really meet the needs of today's homeowners. So the application includes demolition of a detached garage. That detached garage is closer than 25 feet to the wetland line. And so as a part of this application, we're going to be removing that attached garage and also restoring a 25-foot buffer, which we requested a variance to not restore the 50-foot buffer, which is in the town's bylaw. We're proposing stormwater mitigation at the rear. So there's a storm tech system going in there. We've submitted calculations that the project's stormwater rate and flow won't exceed the 100-year storm as shown in the town's bylaw. Sorry, I didn't know if there was a question. Sorry.
Oh, they just can't hear you.
We're having a hard time understanding, and
I think it'd be best to make a motion that, we just continue this.
Yeah.
First, this is not.
There's no file number. I mean,
there's no file number, we're not seeing the plans presented, and we've never had a presentation done over Zoom like this without plans
Yeah.
in front of us for it, so.
So I mean, I'm having a difficult time hearing, so it's really, not productive to me.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, with that, I'd like to make a motion that we continue the hearing to 17 Greenville Street. There's a
26.
May 28th, and then the applicant is representative will be here in person and make the presentation.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mhm. Isabel, do you want to say anything?
Hmm?
You want to say anything?
We're all set. Continue for 20.
Continue it. Wednesday.
Well, I'll be in touch with them. Wednesday.
Did you hear all that?
Disconnect.
Sounds like we're back on May 28th.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And we already got pushed the hearing to get in here. It's just a little frustrating. When we did communicate that via email. I do
You
have
have the
that
email April
correspondence.
2nd,
April 2nd.
April 2nd
I
email.
responded to you and said that we have a Zoom link, but you need to be present to share your screen and to present the project.
Okay, well, we asked the question earlier and it was responded that it is virtual, so I went off of that email that was sent prior to that. We did a lot of coordination and I really appreciate the town's Conservation Commission agents and, working with us on this and, helping understand the process, but I just want you to understand there is some frustration there and I get it, there is a miscommunication, but we were told it is virtual, otherwise I would be there right now, so. I just want to express some frustration there.
Yeah, I'm not sure who would have said that, but thank you.
We've never had.
Okay. Moving on. Moving on at 7:07, next item, continue.
Can I just ask who seconded?
Jack did.
Okay,
Mass Wetlands Protect Act, Bill with the Wetlands Protection Bylaw, wetlands hearing, notice of intent, continue public hearing for 121 Lexington Road, applicant town of Billerica. DEP file number 1091591, BBL 1591, request a continuance to the May 28th meeting.
So moved.
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
708, Mass Wetlands Protection Act, and Bill Ricker Wetlands Protection Bylaw Wetlands Hearing, notice of intent, continued public hearing for 900 Middlesex Turnpike, Building 8, applicant Paul Gray, DEP file 1091593, BL 1593.
Good evening. Before we start, I did not bring my materials electronically, but I do have boards.
Mhm.
If the board, would like to see the boards?
Just in the middle. There, here it is.
Exclusion, but things in your geriatric. Things loud and close.
Sure. Okay. Good evening. For the record, my name is Brian Dundon. I'm civil engineer with Archer O'Connell and Associates. I have with me tonight, Mr. Paul Gray, project applicant from Metla Toledo, and Mr. Christopher Lucas from Lucas Environmental, our professional wetland scientist. We are here tonight as a continued, public hearing from February, in which, a full presentation was given on the applicant seeking an order of conditions to, basically repave his existing parking lot area and perform certain, drainage improvements to the property. I believe at that point in time, the board indicated that our stormwater management design was subject to a third-party peer review. The town has engaged the services of MBL Land Development and Permitting Corporation, who did an independent peer review on our, not only on our site plan, but also on our stormwater management report. They issued a comment letter that we received on March 26th. We have, on receipt of the comment letter, we have revised the plans and the supporting documents, and we did resubmit updated plans to both the town and to NBL on or around March 24th. Highlights of the revisions to the plans and the reports include the following. On our grading and drainage plan, which is drawing C2, we added a note that upon completion of final paving and stormwater improvements, that the entire on-site stormwater management system be cleaned of all sand and sediment, not only within structures, but also at its outfall points. We have added as a request from the comment letter to add snow storage areas on site. And these areas have been identified on drawing C3 in this location here. We have some snow storage areas within the purple lens of the parking lot itself. In addition to that, we also added no snow dumping signs, as well as conservation restricted area signs. And essentially those signs are identified on drawing C3 as either sign X-1 or X-2, and we have placed them along the edge of the roadway areas that are adjacent to wetland resource areas. For those cases. We have also, since our filing, we were made aware that FEMA has updated their flood zone mapping, however, it hasn't been officially published yet. But we did get a copy of it, and we have added that flood zone line to our plans. Essentially, what it does, it encompasses the McKee Brook area. It does not encroach into any of the developed or parking lot here or anywhere where we intend to resurface and repave our lot. As I mentioned, we filed the materials back. We did receive from NBL, through staff, a follow-up, letter that essentially states that the revisions performed and the review of the updated documents met with their satisfaction, that we've adequately addressed all of their comments, and recommended to the board that no further action would be needed. It should be known that we are aware that we also, in addition to receipt of an order of conditions, we also understand that we need to obtain a stormwater management permit. We're in the process, our plan was to apply for that once we seek approval from the Conservation Commission. In short, before we close our presentation, I would like to turn it over to Mr. Chris Lucas to discuss the wetland resource areas.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Chris Lucas with Lucas Environmental, professional wetland scientist and registered professional soil scientist. We presented the resources areas to you previously. As you're aware, there's the adjacent property at Mill Circle. It's before you for an ANRAD. We've adjusted our project to only include our subject parcel. There's an easement agreement for some work in the adjacent parcel. We were asked to remove that. Now moving forward with any work on the Gutierrez parcel at this time. We've updated our resource areas to reflect only those on our property. And I think we've done that. We've updated all the calculations. They were included in that last supplement. We updated the entire narrative to in WPA form and your local form to reflect revised numbers, which also includes the adjustment from the 50-foot to the 25-foot alteration zone. We believe we're in a position tonight for the board to close and approve project pending any other questions you may have this evening. We did have one request in discussions with the buying property Gutierrez folks. We understand they're exploring the options to overcome the presumption that the riverfront area exists in this portion of the site. We've identified it on the plans because whether it's there or not really has no bearing on our project. We would just like to ask the board if you may consider not a factor finding in our order that the riverfront is not being confirmed in our notice of intent. And not until we know would be subject to anything in the future. If they came back, they'd have to resolve that issue. But that way the ANRAD can play out. They can explore what they need to on the history of this brook. We don't have the need to do that here because again, whether it's riverfront or not, doesn't change what we're doing here. It's a simple repaving project, which is why we didn't invest the time and money to explore whether or not riverfront should be identified. We just set it as consideration before tonight. Otherwise, we're here for any questions. Isabel?
Yeah, so with regards to paving, are you guys scaling back repaving? Or is any portion of the parking lot on their property? It is, right?
The small portions.
So you're excluding that from the project?
Yes. So the only new resurfacing being done is 100% on 900 Middlesex, Turnpike's property, not Toledo's property.
But the other plan showed all of the pavement.
Yeah, so for example,
So can you patch that on the plan so the commission can see?
yeah, so the area in question that you're referring to is the property line runs right down the middle of this drive aisle and it encroaches into the parking lot like this. So this white space area today is existing paved parking that serves the adjacent property that Metler has the easement for the rights to utilize this parking as well. As Chris alluded to, we were not given permission to, Gutierrez did not give us permission to have the paved areas go to the full parking lot areas. They only allowed us to pave right to the property line owned by, the property line of 900 Middlesex.
But this property has an easement on the next door property for their parking lot.
To use this
use
parking,
it.
yes.
And then back there for the commission.
Right, we do not have permission to pave the area where there's an easement on the Gutierrez property.
Okay. And so then this project will move forward even,
Correct.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Paul Bray, I'm the head of finance at Toledo. It's our expectation and hope through conversations we've had with Gutierrez that once we get to the paving part of that section, that we can come in agreement with them to pave it. We don't want to pave half of the road and leave the other half not paved. But for the purposes of what they're going to submit to the court, and we're submitting to the review, and what we're submitting, they didn't want us to reference that, so that part is not going to be part of our project. If we get to the point where they will not work with us, then we will pave up to our line and they will pave their line. But we're hoping we can come to an agreement that that would be, it makes sense to pave 99% of the parking lot and leave 12 parking spaces unpaved.
Right, and actually, so that also provides access from Linnell, that no longer would provide access from Linnell if those are parking spaces, correct?
No, so the roadway is access from Linnell. People can drive in and on that as they wish, but on the right side are parking spaces.
Yeah.
That would not be paved, are not going to be paved as of right now as of this project.
And just standalone pavement out there,
Right. Yep.
okay, I just wanted the commission to understand that. Yeah, so the plans that are before the commission initially showed wetlands expanding onto the adjacent property, and so the plans were revised to remove that fully, so you're only looking at wetlands associated with this property. I did speak to Paul about opportunities for restoring inner buffer zone and installing signs that would serve as like kind of a visual barrier on posts in strategic areas. I passed some aerials down as an idea, but for the record, though, that should probably be shown on this plan. Do you mind if I mark up the plan? Or
Yeah.
Do you have those locations?
Yes.
Go
What we
over
did,
them again?
excuse me?
Can you go over them again?
Sure, so we have, two sets of signs. One is the no snow stockpile area sign. And then we have it, a conservation restricted area sign. And those signs are gonna be mounted on the same post. And this location right here,
Mhm.
this location right here, this location right here, is to protect that wetland related area.
Mhm.
And then we have another one to see here. We have here. 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 Here, so it's four along the southern edge as well.
Yeah, so, the commission heard that, and then, we would, so based on aerial, you could see that, there's no stockpiling on this area here. At the, behind the building here,
Okay,
so, probably put a sign here, and then, opportunities to, reduce the degree of mowing and restore with the conservation wildlife seed mix and a few native plantings. Right on this area here. That's also shown on the aerials, and that was based on just inquiries because it was noted at the first hearing that the commission would be looking for that. And thank you, that was a quick turnaround on the plans.
no problem.
Spoke to. So pending what you just said in the aerials that I marked up, that might be helpful to the commission. You know, the only other item is what Lucas Environmental raised was to, asking the commission to disregard the applicability of riverfront area on the property. Or at least in this area, but the commission did approve a former wetlands application, which was associated more with building 2. That acknowledges riverfront area with McKee Brook.
We have the roof on. Sorry, where's my turn?
That's it for staff review now. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Where is the riverfront on that one? Do you still have the line on it?
It is.
We have lines delineated on our property, so we delineated the 200-foot riverfront buffer area. It's right here. Then we have a 100-foot riverfront area, which is right in here.
All right, thank you. I'm working off this is very small work also.
All right, thank you. So it is on there.
Yes.
We've accounted for it. It's marked as perennial stream on USGS maps. We just didn't invest the time and cost to further look at to see the true history here, what occurred, because is it functioning as a pond, a river, is there more history to it? We didn't explore that because it had no bearing. You know, when Gutierrez is asked that they have an opportunity to explore that and so we've accounted for the riverfront, if it is present, we quantified it, if it is present, it's shown in the plans. They just asked that.
We reviewed it as riverfront, so.
Right, so they were just asking, we were asking if the board may consider a fact of finding that there's been no confirmation if it's riverfront or not, to allow the debate to continue for the adjacent property.
Well, so we did have it on the plan, we reviewed it, and they're going to leave it on the plan. It's not going to be removed. I just. Either them together, with a lot, this thing, is it number 2 you just said?
Based on the information that we have
Right,
right now, we're under the presumption that it is riverfront.
Right.
Which extends onto the adjacent lot.
Yeah.
And the burden would fall on the applicant to show you otherwise.
well, if it's gonna stay on the plan, then I think, you know, I would just say, when we do condition this, which I think we're ready to close by tonight anyhow, but it's just that we accept it with the resources as shown on the plan, but, are we going to hear from Brian? Brian, you here for this?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wanted to turn it over to Brian and I got carried away with the signs.
Okay.
I'll defer to Brian.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Brian Dunn with MBL Land Development and Permitting. Offices at 5 Bristol Drive in Southeastern. I am the principal of the firm. We did a peer review. First off, I'd like to say, you know, kudos to Lucas Environmental and to RJ O'Connell on their presentation of their plans and their reports. Made it very, very easy to identify things. So it's nice to see this level of detail on the plans. And it kind of like looks like what my office would present. So and submit to conservation commissions. So it's refreshing to see this type of detail, especially on a maintenance and repaving project. So we did a peer review. We went through everything in detail. But what's really great about this project is that the existing catch basins are gonna be retrofitted with a, I think it's what's called an interceptor, is that what it's called?
Yes,
Okay,
the park.
yeah, eliminator. So this the green, kind of like a snow, it's plastic. And then we have water quality structures being implemented. So they're trying to bring the site into, you know, somewhat of compliance with the DEP's rules and regulations on TSS removal and water quality. So, so they've done a really good job about that. We did identify that they do have to go to the DPW and to the Board of Health, for stormwater permitting and floodplain, permitting. When you go back into the riverfront issue, what's on the plans is what you're approving. So when you reference the order of conditions and approve, then you're approving those resources as shown on the plans that have been presented to you. The other thing is if the flood mapping is showing is a perennial, or the USGS data is showing as perennial, it's my understanding that that cannot be refuted. If it's perennial, it stays perennial. If it shows up as intermittent, then you can do stream stats and those kinds of things. And, you know, prove, what is it, 1/4 of an acre of land that goes to that area and so on and so forth, or a 1/2 mile, something like that, so that you can determine whether or not it is flowing all the time or not flowing. So, but if it shows up as solid blue, you're done. That's my understanding of the regulations on regards to perennial streams. So tonight, when you approve it, and when you issue an order of conditions, it's going to reference these plans that show the riverfront on it. So you're in a sense approving that resource buffer zone of the riverfront. And I think we had this on another project also at 900 Middlesex that had a perennial stream and riverfront, if I remember. It was a loading dock kind of a thing, and and all the things that, Mike and Isabel are talking about, and you're talking about, you know, the fences and the signs and things like that. That's what we did on that project as well. And that was a repaving and a fixing of a loading dock and adding another dock, so it was all conditioned that same way. So, and then I also, you know, if you look at my peer review in the end of my peer review, it actually talks about, you know, the BBW issues, and the riverfront as well. So, because that's what's shown on your plans. So, like I said before, they did a very, very good job, and I think this will help. If you approve this and condition it the right way, it will, be a environmental benefit, to the resource areas here where, there's very little, you know, TSS removal right now, and they're gonna clean out the entire system, which probably hasn't been cleaned in, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So that's also a benefit to this project, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I think, when you came into the original presentation, I also complimented you. This was not to lay it on too thick, but it really was a very nice presentation. I mean, usually we're always asking for this or that, but you seem to have covered it all, so thank you very much. But, thank you, Brian, for what you said. I think that's how the commission is leading towards too, and, you know, it is what it is, and it's not if some other entity comes in on another piece of property and wants to challenge, it has nothing to do with you, so, you know. It is. And I guess we're going to condition the restoration area rather than wait for a revised plan, which is a little unusual because I personally spoke to you to find areas that I was looking for things even if they were outside the 25. Because obviously, as you're referencing, this is, you know, was developed a long time ago. It wouldn't be something that we would let you develop that close to in certain areas. You know, we probably would have been looking more like a 50-foot alteration zone. So it's going to be a condition. And I would encourage you that although these areas you're talking about, and Isabel mentioned a few places, if you find the owners, if you find other areas that are conducive to doing conservation seed mix or some nice native plantings, I personally would appreciate that. So, but other than that, I thank you very much. You know, worked really well with the committee. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I forgot one thing.
Yes.
At the end of my review, I also recommended that we have an environmental monitor to inspect the installation of the drainage components. Not the pavement, but just the water quality structures going in and making sure that these eliminators are installed as well.
We agree with the assessment of the it's on the plan that we determined earlier, and I appreciate Mr. Dunn's review as well as his comments on that. I do not feel comfortable not.
We've never taken.
We've never taken, you know, that, I've been on the commission for a while, and we don't take things off like that. And that's, anyway, thank you all, I'm all set.
Okay, check, I'm all set. Christine,
I'm all set.
Tom,
I'm all set also.
and me too, after work that's been done and people have presented, but everything's fine to me. So, Julie, audience, you're the only ones left. You want to comment on your own work? No?
Take a bow.
right.
Yeah, take a bow.
Yeah, the first thing you have to do is issue discuss the variance request to section 3.03 some review, which is the 25-foot no alteration zone. You know, setting aside the grade improvement with the stormwater management, you know, helps the wetland tremendously. I think we can grant it because we'll be doing a condition later, the main motion, to cover some restoration areas and any additional signage if needed. So I would make a motion that we grant the variance.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
May
may I just clarify, is the variance required to work in the riverfront and the local floodplain or just the alteration?
Pardon me?
What's all, it's just an alteration.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, I'll make a motion that we close, sign and issue an order of conditions for 900 Middlesex Turnpike, file number 1091593 and BBL 1593. And among the special conditions will be as requested by or suggested by our peer review. Done that we do an environmental monitor to monitor the installation of the stormwater management components. And that we also have a condition that prior to at pre-construction, that the administrator works with the applicant to identify areas that can be restored down to a natural vegetated buffer. And that signage will be sufficient areas to designate protected areas. I second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good luck.
We'll notify you in the.
Thank you, Brian.
You're okay.
Yeah, I'll take you.
A lot earlier than you thought, I bet.
Yeah, I know. Not bad, huh?
You lucky that guy did that on Zoom.
Yeah, no, I went to, I did a Zoom meeting at other town. And they said, do it, you can do it by Zoom. It didn't work.
Thank you.
You can't hear.
You can't even.
Yeah.
734, Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Billerica Wetlands Protection Bylaw, wetlands hearing, public hearing for Nell Circle, Terrace Company, DEP file 1091594, BBL 1594, request continuance to the May 28th meeting. So moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Wait a second.
Diane,
Nobody else jumped in.
It's quick.
You could do something, Diane. All right.
Then Diane.
Remember the rest, you know?
It's 7:35, the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and Billerica Wetlands Protection Bylaw wetland hearing. Notice of intent continued public hearing, Talbot Mills Dam, DEP file 1091585, BBL 1585. Also request a continuance to the June 23rd meeting.
I second the motion.
you gotta make a first,
So moved,
Who first did?
Christine.
Jack and Christine.
Jack, Christine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, let's see, previously continued, so that takes us to administrative matters.
Okay, so for miscellaneous updates, just wanted to keep the commission in the loop and you can receive some additional information via email, but I'm working with the Chelmsford DPW who is in dire need of, I think many of you know the Chelmsford Forum, which is the hockey rink, that's the rink, ice skating rink. It's in Billerica, up in that Brick Hill Road.
Yeah.
The
Ooh.
front portion of the building, oh, that's important.
Yeah, isn't it? See you later.
Safe drive, right?
Right home, and our whole lives are on like our phones now, it's ridiculous. But anyways, I'm working with the town engineer, it's actually the engineering department for Chelmsford. They need to make that front entrance area ADA accessible. And that area is outside the resource areas. I don't know if anyone's been down there recently, but the parking lot for the rink is actually sectioned off very well now. Historically, long time ago when I first started here, maybe 12 years ago or so, there was a lot of buses, school buses were parked, and actually like tractor trailers too, on the gravel side of the parking lots. There's a lot of area. Their parking lot is paved, and currently it's sectioned off. There's some Jersey barriers and cones that have been there for quite some time now, a few years, actually over 2 years. Buses no longer park there for like the last 2 years. They're just looking to resurface that area that they're using for the purposes of striping, for safety and adequate access. There's a lot of children that use it. So kind of what we were encountering down at Vietnam Veterans Park, that gravel parking lot, they needed to stripe it. So that's what they were looking to do here. It is paved and they're looking to, do just minor repaving. What I did, I met them on site and I asked our DPW engineer, stormwater engineer Christina, to join us. Because I wanted to see what opportunities exist to protect that adjacent floodplain, wetland. So they actually have signs, the city or the town of Chelmsford already installed signs, no parking, no parking. So they've agreed to install some wetlands protection signs on the same posts. They'll do that, and because of where the way that parking lot connects to the adjacent gravel parking areas, and this is based on cost, that they're not doing anything with those areas right now. They solely want to just make it safe to use the ice skating rink, to park and access the ice skating rink. But the way it's connected to the adjacent kind of gravel lot, there's an opportunity to actually put a stone swale there, a stone infiltration trench to at least slow the rate of runoff and capture some sediment. So I'm working with them on that, and their engineering department is putting together a plan. I just wanted to keep you in the loop about that, okay? And Christina is looking that over to your, Christina, for this town to assess, opportunities, and the whole lot she flows, for the most part, she flows in that direction. So it would be optimal to do that.
Yeah.
They're not looking, their budget does not include any money to like do anything for those gravel areas. They're just concerned about the parking lot that's currently being used, and it's relatively small compared to that whole area.
I just have one question of when you're riding down, Clover Ground, I guess it's. And you can see it from the street, they, after whatever they do in they scrape the ice, whatever, they just pile all the old ice and everything out in that area of the parking lot.
No, it's actually, so it's right behind the building, we saw it, and it's there, and then on the other side of the building. It's the best places where they're doing it
So
today.
so you can see it right off the highway, that's the wetland is that area?
No,
It's not the back.
no. It's just in the back.
No, it's funny, 'cause
Yeah.
I see turtles crossing over the down this way. Yeah,
Turtles, you know,
yeah. We've gone the wrong direction.
yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because I have no idea what chemicals. they
Yeah,
have.
so we know the limit of wetland
Yeah.
out there, so the ADA accessibility and, kind of restructuring of the front of the building that they need to do is outside resource areas. The wetland is solely in the back.
The years that belong to the.
The other thing that they agreed to do, so they agreed to remove wind-blown trash and debris along the wetland edge.
Yeah.
They agreed to install wetland signs. They also agreed to install, because of the way that pavement connects to the adjacent, kind of old gravelly, lots that they're, again, not using. There's an opportunity to install stone trench to, again, slow the rate of runoff and capture a degree of sediment. They're also putting together an O&M plan
Nice, yeah.
for that area. I said, we can, provided you complete all this stuff, and take a serious look at good improvement on the quality of stormwater runoff via sheet flow. We can try to work with you, but they
That's
have
nice, yeah.
no intention of developing or using those adjacent lots. That's not even part of the budget. And it will remain sectioned off with Jersey barriers.
Do they own those gravel areas? They do.
Yeah, they're large.
Yeah, I didn't know if it belonged to the.
But, you may recall, I mean, if you look at aerials, you can see a lot of school buses. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whose school buses they were, if they were Chelmsford or Billerica, probably
I
Billerica.
think it was Bill.
And also, but then it turned into trailers, trucks too. They actually have that all sectioned off. And their engineering department just has a little bit of budget to do the ADA accessibility out front, clearly outside of jurisdiction, and just fix the pavement and do striping. That's very much needed, because right now it's a free for all. And you really have a lot of kids for someone that, who was in the hockey scene for a number of years. We have a ton of kids using that.
Well, thank you for looking forward.
I want to thank, I also want to thank our DPW engineering, Christina Papadopoulos too. She was very helpful. She attended the site visit, and their engineering too, their town engineering staff.
We appreciate
So I'll have more to share. They're actually pulling together the memo with all the details, because we wanted in writing that this is all required. Okay, so that's an update, more to come officially, okay? And, that's it for now. Sorry. Let me write down my notes, please. Remove trash, accessibility.
One motion.
Meeting adjourned.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay,
We have a lot of enforcements we're working on, but yeah, I would say, we can get more of that email to you ahead of time.
motion to adjourn.
What time is it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thanks, Granny.
What do we have, 7:47?
7:44.
Yeah.
Everything was on that stamped up there.
I can't adjourn if I don't. want
Just for your information, next meeting is the 28th,
Yeah.
Wednesday night. We also have a